All right. So if you watch my Protan video from a couple of weeks ago, I think the highest I was able to achieve is what, about 5.5 trillion or so. I've done one run this week. No, two runs this week. My last run that I did, I was able to get, I think, 6 trillion. Let's see here. I took a screenshot of it. Maybe it was the first run I did this week. Let me see. Right here. Yeah. So that was my first run this week. So that was 6 trillion. So that was with, let me see if I can see who that is. That was Pansy, Priss, Evan, Ray, Fallen Frey, Audie, who died, and Lav and Glenwis. Okay, so today we are doing the exact same team. The only difference is I've got this new Cece that I've invested into for Conquest. So if you watch my last video, especially towards the end where I went off on the do's and don'ts of this game, I mentioned I was going to make a video where I was going to attempt using Cece. Now she's not nearly at the level stat-wise as my Pansy, but the utility that she brings as a single target DPS is much better than that of Pansy's, and she, of course, is going to bring his CC bar down and put him into a knockdown phase where he's taking more damage much more rapidly than Pansy is. So these are the perks I have her on right here. Amping damage, increasing damage when there's only one enemy, and you're like, oh, why aren't you running that? Well, it's because she already has 920 base crit. You need 1300 on this, so I got her at 920, and she gets 200 in her base kit, so that puts her at 1120, and I just basically need to bring another 200 to round that up. So I've got that in the form of Ray and Evan. They're each bringing 150 and then an additional 50. I'm not going to rely on her S1 to have been fired for a 300 crit chance reduction. So I'm just going to let her be critting 100% of the time for maximum damage potential. And I had to reduce Frey's gears because she had too much attack. So I put her on gears where she's going to be able to crit far more frequently. She gets 100 from this. So she'll be at about 880, plus she'll get the 250. And then, of course, if Lab's S1's fired, that boom, she'll be critting 100% of the time if I can get that thing to fire off right before the knockdown phase. So she'll be like a sub DPS is my guess. I don't know for certain. She is M damage, so she's not getting a whole lot of amps. But I made sure that Ray was getting Audie's A2, of course CC, and then Fallen Frey. So all that cooldown from Ray to, from Audie's A2 to Ray, CC, and Frey should help quite a bit. And with her, medley sheet now being 5-star, it was 3-star, I believe, when I was running Proton 3 weeks ago. And then this pocket watch was 2, now it's 3. I'm optimistic that all the cooldown that I get from the medley sheet going to 75% of the team is going to help amp my DPS scores. So let's see what happens here. I'm not too familiar with CC, but I talked to a couple of mains that use her, and they told me the big thing is setting her up with S2 to prep her for rapid fire S3 and getting all those stacks on her S3 perk, and then of course that UT that she's got here. So we stacked up to 10 times. So we're trying to get those stacks up as quickly as humanly possible. I did use a bunch of reforged tickets. These are the lines I was able to achieve. So got a couple of attack lines on there. I got her a couple of UTs that I was missing. And hopefully this will do the trick. And let's see what happens. All right, here we go. I'm going to run this at 1.5x speed. I'm more familiar with just pressing everything at that speed. So hopefully I can keep up with this stuff here. I guess I just opened with the rest too. And her DPS is just not where Pansy's is. I'm not sure why. Probably because I'm using it wrong, is my guess. Probably using a full weapon out of phase. I'm probably using that wrong. I don't know. Yeah, so it's the same, but she's a lot easier to run than, well, that last hit there brought it up. Well, so that was good. So it's definitely higher than what I was getting with Pansy. Not a ton higher. I mean, what was that, about a 1.5, or was 6.2, and I was at like 6.03, so about 200 billion more. So that's not bad, and that was my first run with her. So, I mean, clearly she's better than Pansy, and she's not even A220 or a 5-star UT yet, so that's good. So now I'm going to have even higher world boss scores. Whoop-de-doo. I'm happy with that, though. She's a lot easier to run than Pansy. I'll give her that. So that is something I'm very happy about, just in terms of being able to make world boss even easier now and not having to spend nearly as much time on it. I'm sure I could get a much higher score if I ran it at 1x and I was actually getting all my boosts and buffs and all that good stuff. perfectly. But look, I'm top 30 on the server. I mean, the rewards are like, what? Let's see here. Server ranking reward. So let's say I just get in the top 10. So I get a whopping 700 more, whatever that is, if I'm in the top 10. Nothing. I think I said in the last video 750. I was wrong about that. It's 1400 or 1260, whatever. But still, not worth it. Not worth it. It's certainly not worth it to go to number 1 in the world. Oh my God. Like, talk about crazy investment that you'd have to put into it. I think this is what I was thinking of here. Just the difference between being in the top 300, which is where I usually lie, and being number 1. I mean, even if I was number 2, it's 1100 more fragments. Same amount of this. Rubies, who cares about? You can buy those. I mean, this is really the unique thing you get from it, right? So you might be getting a world boss artifact like a week sooner than normal if you were number 1 in both of these things every week. You'd be spending so much freaking money to be able to do that. Just spend the money on conquest heroes or eclipse heroes or trial, and use the lowest tokens to buy freaking world boss artifacts, for Christ's sake. I mean, that would be a much better use of your money than just focusing on exclusively world boss heroes, but whatever. So there you have it, folks. Hopefully you enjoyed that. I know I did. I will take anything that makes my life easier in world boss. So have a good one, and we'll talk soon. Peace.